Hello and welcome to another VOD commentary for the Strive Celebration Tournament ran by KR. This is going to be a best of three reverse conquest tournament between Shizzy Mac and Teketria that we are looking at today. That means the teams are pre-drafted and they will just be selecting in a blind pick of who they want to face off first. As per usual, I will have a co-commentator with me, or, well, as per 90% of the time. This time I have the host of the tournament himself with me, KR, here joining me on desk today for this match. Hi, KR.
Hey, hey Leo. Yeah, this is a pretty good match. I watched this video already, so you're in for some very nice games. It's definitely one of the more interesting matches I've seen. So yeah, while Shizzy Mac and Takechi are picking their characters, I'm gonna pull up their roster real quick. We have Shizzy on Bison, Hazama, and Axel Low. So if you know Shizzy, you know he's a war criminal at heart. He does a great job with it. And with Teketria, there is Hakumen, Akuma, and Kai Kiski. So a little more, I guess, of a fair team. Some very good characters nonetheless. So
Now,
let's look at who they're gonna pick round one.
now I know that you know while the people are picking their characters here. I know you know Shizzy from your personal scene. Do you know Teketria as well, or is your knowledge just mostly Shizzy based?
No, my personal knowledge is just Shizzy based.
Well, what can you tell us
He
about
is
Shizzy?
he's actually one of our top players in the scene. Last time I competed, we faced off against each other in grand finals. We had a chip mirror and head versus Chip, I ended up winning against him 2-0, which was a big upset, never beaten him before. So I've played against him quite a few times. As I said, he is my favorite war criminal for a reason. You'll see him playing Axel right now.
All right,
So
so we're gonna.
yeah, he's definitely a good one to go.
Well, thanks for
Yeah,
the
so
insight there. We have Axel versus Hawkman coming up first. Hawkman being known for their more cautious style of gameplay. They usually like most Hawkman players you'll see usually make draw out the match, wait for them to get their overdrive, and then just kind of come in on you. Not to say that Hawkman has bad attacks. We have seen in Just Grasp Feathers pull out the Hawkman, or the more aggressive Hawkman, as I'd like to say, because he does have very good shapes. Axel, on the other hand, is also on a little bit of a patient side, but they want to strike you more with their attacks just to kind of get these attacks off, build up that gauge, and then retreat too. In this matchup, obviously, I think I've seen this matchup before where the main thing Axel wants to look out for is that move that instantly closes Hawkman in, that ultra later on, because that ultra will bring the close 8 over to Axel, and Axel, of course, does not want to be within range of Hawkman and eating these attacks.
that is exactly correct. He is very like Hakumen, especially once he's in Exceed mode, gets very scary for Axel because of this close 8 advance 1 move. But again, it's also the fact that it's stun immune and you can't be reduced to 1 beforehand, so it's a very scary move. Looks like the Teketri is going first on Hakumen, so either a prepare turn 1 or just, oh wow, full mull 5.
Full Mole
Um,
5.
you see 2 EX copies on Axel plus a Sickle Flash and a Sweep. So double dust, double cross. I'm assuming he's going to mulligan at least one of each, if not both, for one of them. Maybe even going to mull that Sickle Flash, even though it's a good retreat. I just don't see. Yeah. I mean, I think I still think a cross one, um, a speed 5 cross still on offense will beat anything Hakumen has. The good end does beat it on defense, being a 1 to 4 speed 5.
Yeah, that's one of the kind of the nice things here that Axel has is what that plus 0 to 2 range, even with the -1 speed, Cross is beating most anything any character has at range 4 here. There's not a lot of characters with a lot of fast dives, and even fast dives are only speed 5, so it requires something like a EX fast dive to actually get on top of Axel here. Um,
That is only on
now,
defense, though.
on
On
defense, sure.
offense, on offense, and now we actually see a Goran engage, so that's one away. Yeah, you just see that cross go right away. That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cross just gets you to corner. It's gonna hit, but the dive coming out, especially on defense, taking 2 damage, is actually gonna move Hackman a little closer to Axel, which is exactly where he wants to be. Range 3, especially without a grasp, is scary for where Axel wants to be. But just a prep here from Hackman and playing a little more passive.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and
that's
you see
exactly what Hawkman was looking for with that defend play, and we're gonna see the another card come out here, the assault into the snail.
Snail. Push one, draw one, gets him back to range four, and gets rid of an assault from Hawkman's hand. So very, very good play overall. And you can see here he draws into his next cross. So there's an advance. But we have two cards in hand that can really deal with that. If you'd like, Axel can always just range one sweep. That is still an option, especially with, but with Suntetsu on the line, I don't think he would. I think instead he might go for. If it were me, I'd be going for Wind Mandus, but no, there's a sweep. We'll see if there's a Zantetsu, but it's just a Wild Swing here, and that is a dive, 5 for 6. If I'm Axel, I'm taking this trade right now because, well, I'm ripping. It's a 2 for 1, plus I'm ripping the card out of their hand.
Yep, this is a good trade for Axel, especially since Axel's already up in life. Normally, the dive wouldn't matter. Oh, there goes his Zantetsu. That's depressing.
Yeah, that is heavily depressing. That is a prep for Teketria, but again, just looking at Axel's hand, we have the Winter Mantis in play. We can spend some force to really turn the screws back on, and
Yeah,
that might be what he does. But he could. There's also Snail Boost. There's also Cross Boost. So you actually have a lot of options here as Axel. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna have the Winter Mantis. He's gonna spend second Snail and the first Sickle Flash out of 4. So we're gonna push 2, draw 5 total,
yeah, that
and yeah, you
boost
see
on
him.
Winter Madness is kind of is a little crazy. This character, the thing
Correct.
about Axel compared to most zoners is Axel has quite a bit more mobility in their kit, specifically on their boosts, uh, which really
And
helps in their zoning game.
just advance 1, get into that range, because
Hmm.
yeah. If it were me, I'd probably be exceeding right away just to get that speed boost, but it's not me, it's Shizzy, and I know Shizzy pretty damn well. Um, if he thinks that he's gonna have the ability to do something, he will do it. He's gonna go for a cheeky Axle Buster, and he gets rewarded for it. It's a Yanagi versus that, and that is a speed 6 Axle Bomber. Sorry, power 6 Axle Bomber, which will break Yanagi.
Power 6 Axel Bomber will indeed break Yanagi, and that is devastating for
And
Hakumen because usually Yanagi would be a pretty good play here just to keep your distance, but that Axel Bomber is good.
yeah, Axle Bomber plus now having the ability to get advantage because he spent that gauge. So if he wants to, now he can really exceed, and boom,
Yeah, I think
there's another
Axel
retreat
has
too.
a draw on his Exceed, which is why we might see Shizzy
Yep,
hesitate here. But I mean, Exceeding his Axel is
yeah,
always good
drop.
because it gives you that retreat
It's
too as well.
dropped. Yeah, it's dropped to retreat two.
Hmm.
So what he could do, he's also just putting a focus right now. Focus for focus, 2 for 2, draw a card each. Yeah,
Yeah, he's just
and
pressing
you
the
just see
advantage.
Shizzy's just really in control right now.
Yep,
Like,
Shizzy just pressing the advantage here, just making sure, or
yeah,
just striking because they don't have to Exceed. This is Hakumen needs to catch up, and it's not happening.
there's one of the there's one of the Sentetsu, not the
The
Sentetsu,
Yukikazes.
the Yukaza, yeah, that's the one that you really want to see him put into gauge. It's not a sheep. That's not a Kokujin. Shipu versus Yukikaze. Yukikaze is the attack that's really scary most of the time, but right now it really isn't. He's already closed up,
Yeah,
and you have a lot more options.
Yukikaze, the main thing that's going to come into play, I think, here later on is if we do see the Yukikaze, it's going to be because Hakumen let themselves get really low on life, and they're going to be using
Yeah,
that to stay alive since it allows them not to
yeah.
die.
So now here's where we're going to see the cross as well from
Hmm.
Axel,
The plus
and
one
that's a
speed cross.
boosted rainwater. So that's now going to mean that since Hakame doesn't have any dragon punches, this cross will hit. And we just don't know what's going to go on with it.
Yep, the plus one speed cross to mitigate that minus one speed on Axel low, getting back all the way to range 50 from Hakumen. This is, unless Hakumen's able to predict this correctly, this is going to be pretty rough here.
Especially since one cross is already known to be used, and it's just a
Hmm.
wild swing here. So
Yep.
that is unfortunate. That is the second Guren, which is your other range 4 option. So
And
that's big, big good news for Axel here.
yeah, Axel back to range 50 can just kind of do whatever they want here. Hakumen choosing to
Eh,
Exceed though. Wow.
Oh, I get why. Hakumen Exceed is scary. That just gives us a free Shibu, that gives us a free Yukikaze. This just turns on so many good options for Hackman. Plus, he has a guaranteed Shibu back to hand next turn,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
that is just something.
the main
Or
reason that
Yukikaze.
it's a little bit in my head of why this is happening is they must have something in hand that gets them in because Axel can just kind of do whatever they want here. They're just going to choose to exceed though, take another slow action, which is fine. I mean, it's a reload. It gets the -1 speed out of the way. But Hakumen's going to have to return something to hand here, and then they're also going to have to advance back in. I don't think there's a cross in Hakumen's gauge to take the advance 3 action, so they're going to either have to spend force or they're just going to have to play something that's known to close in, which means
I think
Axel can respond with whatever they
Yukikaze
want.
is a thing. Yukikaze is in overdrive right now. He can easily return that to hand off of the ability. So one, and we see him take a focus. So that's gonna be actually using most likely reading to his advantage and calling an attack out. As we as we're about to see here. Now we don't know exactly what it's gonna be, but
Probably looking for the
striking, and
dive.
it looks like he finds the dive. So this is pretty big. That's Yanagi, right?
Yeah,
That
just
is
plays
Yanagi.
Yanagi.
If you were hit plus 2 power, so it's gonna be 5 for 5. Um, Normally not a good trade, but here, just having that, yeah, just having that ability to get in there and get at range one again, it's huge. Unfortunately for Hakumen here for Teketria, we know that Axel has the Sickle Flash in hand, which means it's a free boost away. He can retreat 2 or 3 and just go back in with Assault, unless he really wants to try to cheese out a Yukikaze here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just Axel's game, which is why I don't think the Yukikaze is going to do too much here
It,
because Axel does have a
it
block in
won't.
hand. We have all
Yep.
these options. So
And
you
that's
could.
the thing. Like, if it were me, I'd be waiting another turn on Axel to see what he gets back to hand because he's gonna have to get it to hand sometime. And
Mhm.
if he gets it back to hand, I and he doesn't play it, I parry it. If he does play it, um, then I just block.
Go in
Like
for the
block is the
cheeky Winter
best answer.
Madness.
Yeah, and
Respectable.
that's gonna you're gonna see it. Winter Mantis, you're gonna pull eight. And that's one Yukikaze gone. It's gonna take him down to 1 life, but that's gonna do 6 damage to Axel here, and it just I get it's cheeky, it works, but in this case, it just did not do more than you wanted to do.
Hmm. Well, if we return anything other than block or Yukikaze, or if we don't have block in hand, we're pretty much dead. So, yeah, there's the other
Yeah,
Yukikaze.
exactly. And right now, just he's kind of got to use it because he's 2 turns left on Exceed. He's gonna boost Light. That's kind of a scary one to boost, huh?
Yeah,
Let's see. What would you do here as Axel?
as Axel, I'm not an Axel player, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
uh,
change cards is what he's doing
yeah,
here.
that's 100%. I
No,
agree with this action
honestly,
though.
yeah,
Just getting cards
me
back
too.
in hand.
But yeah, just draw
Oh,
5,
there's the X
and there's
grasp.
IDX grasp. So exactly, just 1, 2 does not get the chooses not to get the block back to hand.
Yeah, chooses not to get the block back to hand. Probably scared of
Read
something like Spike.
something. Uh, what
I'm
is
a,
he reading? I do not know.
well,
But it is not something in his hand. It's most likely something like a spike, or hell, he's trying to read like maybe an assault or something.
well, yeah.
Um, if
Just
it were me at this point, I'm diving.
it's diving over because Axel dive hits everywhere. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Oh yeah, if it's me, I'm diving because I'm predicting this to be a Yukikaze.
It's actually pretty funny because
Now,
Yukikaze loses a dive here even if it hits first. Just gonna
yeah,
grasp.
it's gonna be a grasp, and yeah, that's a sweep. Um, yeah, the dive play would have punished me, but I also not knowing what they called may have been the other reason. Because had it been a spike, had they called spike, I might have predicted as well. But yeah, the grasp got him. We knew Yukikaze there, so that was a good bait. Um, Even there, it just felt like yeah, Axel had control the whole game. So we're gonna see game one, and that's gonna be Axel taking it. Um, Moving to game two, we know that Shizzy has to step off of Axel here. Well, we know who's next. We see the tournament results chat. For the viewers at home, though, who do you think is gonna be? winning this next match? I mean,
Um,
who's going to be the next match, I should say. Um,
between Bison and Hazama, I actually don't know either. I haven't watched this video yet or flipped through it.
Fair.
Um,
Oh, you haven't seen the okay. Yeah, you haven't seen the tournament results chat then. So I know Shizzy very well. His main two characters he currently plays are Hazama and Axel. He does not play Bison much. However, he's actually a Waldstein player in real life. To the point where in the big 2 day tournament we hosted, he came third day one and got Waldstein on the mat.
yeah, Hazama and Bison are both great picks, so I could see either or coming in this way.
Yeah,
Axel, usual Axel matches in the tourney, unless the Axel player messes up, are usually have been uh, historically pretty dominant in most of these matches. So I kind of want to
exactly.
see Teketria see or pick something that they're going to be comfortable on, and I want to kind of see them come into play if possible. Just to
Yeah.
kind of see what they can do because I felt like with the Hawkman, I didn't really get to see much of a showcase of them as a player with that
No,
Axel
and
matchup. So we see the
Hakumen, and not only that, but like Hakumen is also, I don't know, Hakumen just feels like kind of like a weird character here. Like Axel Hakumen is such a weird matchup in general, though, right?
we're seeing the Kai versus Hazuma come out. This is
Yeah,
going to be interesting because Akai is a little bit of a sandbox character since they are a blue Shoto. They have a lot of good tools, a lot of good movement, and people like to flip between whether Exceed Kai is better or just playing his ultras are better because his ultras are really good, and then he also has just good stuff in on his Exceed side with that ability to just
well,
draw one. And then
the
Hazama, of
unfortunate part
course,
for
going to be kind of playing
Ouroboros,
his playing their mix-up game, sitting at range 2 to 3 constantly. More than
the
likely, it's going
problem,
to be range 3 for Hazama because they don't
yeah,
want to get hit by that Vapor Thrust.
Vapor, like Kai just likes range two
Hmm.
a lot, and it's one of those things where if you're a Kai and you're facing a Hazama, you know that you're probably gonna be in an advantage spot because Kai has that ability to just cancel and get right into range two, get right out of range, get right into the good range for him, especially against the zoner like Hazama, where he really likes being in three.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of fully expect to see here. Is I expect Kai to either, I mean, if they end up at range, they're gonna end up playing their telegraph tools. If they end up at range 2 where they want to be, then Hazama always has to worry about those options like Vapor Thrust and stuff, and Dire Eclad because Dire Eclad's a crazy card. Silly
Yeah,
push 2, draw 2 if not pushed more than 2, 5, 4,
yeah, just oof. And it has guard on it too.
and it has guard on it. Yep, card go wild.
Eclat's
Now,
just Eclat's a good card. You see Venom Sword here, which could be a very good option for Hazama. Um,
yeah. Now, of the
just kind
two
of looks.
characters here, Hazama's definitely the harder one to play. I don't think the matchup is particularly favored in either direction. Just if you were to look at it just based on say both players at the same skill level, Hazama is the harder character to play though.
Yeah, by
I
a lot.
know.
Um, that being said, Hazama is one of Shizzy's mains, so he's been playing Hazama for quite a while.
Perfect. That's exactly what I like to
So
hear.
you,
And then, of course, we have kind of a little bit of differing opinions on Hazama too. There's a lot of people that strike immediately. Food Ray Arc into
Fujark
sweep.
into a sweep. So again, just advantage here. I would say Hazama kind of has a little bit of a better advantage just getting that two for one. And ripping a focus out of the hand.
Yeah, ripping the focus out of the hand's really good here. Hazama gonna be looking to either just boost here or play a mix up. They have the Venom Sword if they want to get out of this range to kind of get into a more favorable range for themselves. But of course, if they decide to Ouroboros anytime soon, they're gonna be dealing with the range 2 Kai. So I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah,
I see them just leave here soon. Especially because that boost on
I
Venom
would.
Sword lowers their force cost.
Yeah, like it's kind of chill for a little bit. Raw Grasp, I think, is a very respectable move. You can see the second focus here. EX Sweep, he's gonna eat quite a bit of damage, but again, like that's 7 damage, but that's both sweeps gone.
I'm kind of curious on the EX sweep play here, what that was meant to be honest, because
He was meant to
there's
be the second sweep on offense.
second sweep on offense. Yeah, I'm still very controversial in playing a sweep like that, especially in season 7, because that's your EX boost as well.
Yeah, it's ooh, that
I'm
was
not a big
a
fan. Oh, there goes the devouring
from
thing.
that. I'm gonna be right back. Gotta do a few things real quick. I'll be back in like 5.
Okay. Uh, all right, so we're just drawing 3 and striking here at range 3. This is the perfect range for Hazama to strike at because I mean, they have the Falling Fang, they have the Hunger Coils, and this is just Hazama's preferred range, is just draw 3 and strike. So, this is going to be up to Hazama what they want to play here. Kai doesn't have a whole lot of answers at range 3 unless they predict correctly, because their range 3 options are usually, the same as most characters are going to be. We're going to see the Venom Sword come out to push Kai to range 4. So, Kai's just going to EX cross here. I'm really curious why they're spending so many EXs, especially an EX that doesn't hit. Like, I guess they're scared of the 2 to 3, but the problem with the 2 to 3 is Hazama just spent 1 card to draw 3 strike and then 2 cards to play Falling Fang, if that was the case. So we're going to see the parry come out for the Hazama looking to parry that Fireball. And yeah, now we're just
And
chilling as Hazama
yeah,
because we don't have to worry about the Fireball.
yeah, and just seeing that fireball right there is again, it's gonna be limiting Kai's options here. That fireball was pretty much the only thing that hit at this range for either of them. So knowing that we now have Cosmo and a little bit more control of the actual tempo, and you see that with boosting the Venom Sword, advance or retreat up to 2. So getting to range 4 feels a little bit more safe.
Now, question is this player is his Shizzy a block strike enjoyer, striking with block just to get gauge.
That's more me than him.
That's more you than
I'll
him.
be
Okay,
honest. I don't think that that would be something that he does as often.
okay.
Um,
That
that
would
being
have been
said,
that was in my running through my mind to get that third gauge for that Olden hand and then doing that. So
yeah,
I was curious.
yeah. I mean, I think it would be something that he would do sometimes. If you strike block here, it's something that I wouldn't be mad at. I probably would have. I might have done that just because I'm a little more aggressive. Shizzy tends to play a little more defensive on Hazama
Mm,
when he needs to,
okay.
especially in this kind of situation. Um, yeah, you're gonna see an Ouroboros come out, and looking at which one it is, looks like he is striking. We know what he's striking with. He's striking with a force attack, which means free. Again, with that boost, free Ouroboros plus free attack. It's awesome. Plus 1 speed, minus plus 3 guard. Does actually change some of the matchups. But again, Ouroboros just being what Ouroboros, you have no idea if you're getting struck from 3 or 4.
Yeah, you usually don't see Hazmas do the juke out too much, so you generally expect Hazma to just come in and just play around that.
Yeah.
Um, as
But again, the
for
Juka,
Yeah, yeah, I do. It does exist. You are correct. So going to range 3 here, and then just pretty much you have to guess what this is. Is Kai being? This is the problem with being able to sweeps though, is you don't have like any safe range 3 options. So when it comes to stuff like that, and your other stuff
Mhm.
doesn't really hit at range 3 in the first place, you don't have a lot of great options. You have another assault, you have another dive, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
And
Dive
then
is
your
an
fireball.
insane option. But well, we know Dive is an insane option here, but it is just Assault here. Unfortunately, that is going to do 0 damage to
The rising
Hazama
thing. Yeah.
because the Rising Fang 4 armor on that. And while Kai definitely has while Kai's advantage here, well, um, he's gonna push Kai to range 2, which is very good for Kai. It's gonna be 0 for 4, which is theoretically a great trade for Shizzy here.
Yeah, that's 100% a great trade because the Ouroboros was free, the Rising Fang was free. We get amazing
Yes.
value out of this with the 4 armor, so.
Oh yeah. The one problem I have with it though is that Kai's now at range 2 without having to do anything for it, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, that is a problem. That can be resolved pretty easily by or next or on Hazuma's next strike though, if they want.
Sure, but that's still on a strike. That is still on something that, and now you see Vapor Thrust
Boost the
kind
holy
of come
orders.
out and just boosting, no cancel.
Yeah, we're down both crosses at range 2. We're down one holy
Oh yeah.
orders. We're down a dire eclot.
Now it
I'm not
just
super.
feels
Yeah, this range 2 is kind of dead in the water right now. We have the plus
mm,
1 speed, which is a little bit scary, I guess, but
yeah.
not particularly.
Right now, I guess, and if he's really saving up, he could be saving up for something like Ride the Lightning, but he's calling what block, calling focus. Yeah, just calling a block to get a free crush,
Yep,
and
calls out the block.
that's
That's
just a
good.
brutal call. Um, Now Shizzy has gauge for all of his stuff.
Yep, I really like that. That's just the or calling the block there is pretty telling that you're gonna play spike,
Uh,
but I mean, player hasn't played
she
either
don't care.
block yet, so
Yeah,
good play.
and here just now here's a move I kind of disagree with. It's an exceed. His ultras in hand, he has the force to really force people to discard. It feels like exceed here wasn't needed.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this Exceed either. I mean, you're already up on life. You don't need to pay to deal 4 damage. I remember seeing Polter bring this up before, paying to deal 4 damage when you could spend the 4 gauge to do 7 damage instead.
Yeah,
Um,
that's also one, and I get why. Wild Swing here. Hosma's a very good Wild Swing character. Unfortunately,
Gets the
just not
grasp.
what he needed there. Grasp, yeah.
Alright, on to Hazuma's turn. Going to go ahead
And
and lose
again,
an OD, or a card from OD, and then do the plus 1, lose 1.
yeah, the thing here is that he really wants the cost reduction right now because now he can really fake you out, but instead he's just gonna play passive. Um, this could be double. This could be the second spike. This could be dive. This could be a lot of things. And
Better
unfortunately, I
focus.
believe this is actually the second spike.
That's
So
pretty
yeah,
funny.
that is
Was that
that
from
is
hand or
just
was that a wild swing? I didn't
that
see.
was from hand.
That was from hand. Man, what a crazy call. Just throwing out defensive spike like that. I respect it. I respect it. Alright. Well, I mean, we're still sitting at range 2. I mean, this has just been a goofy kind of guessing game here going on. Another tick of overdrive happens, keeping the life lead advantage given to Hazama. A no gauge for either of our ultras, unfortunately. We can choose to use the boost on it to just kind
Here's
of nerf
yeah,
Kai's hand completely if we want, though, before striking.
yeah. I think here's where I would boost, discard 4 cards, and strike with that. Most likely the hungry coils, because that's the one attack that would hit and actually make us work. Into a wild swing. No crosses are left. One vapor thrust is left, forcing him to wild swing. But no, instead he's just gonna play passive again. And this is something I actually kind of disagree with.
Yeah, without Kai having a lot of options on the table, looking to just discard their hand and then do that is pretty would be pretty nice. Uh,
That's one.
instead of playing slow here.
Yeah, and this is where it's kind of frustrating to see it because generally I feel like Shizzy's getting in his head right now, but I don't know. Like I really think that it's just he can do so much better. He has Falling Fang in hand. He has curved options and above curved options, and this here it feels like he's making a mistake. He's not going in. He's got the better options and he's got the better options overall right now. He has a whole bunch of different things, and he's kind of just spending his turns just chipping him out where he could actually be working. Now he's going to strike. He's going to spend quite a bit of force, but it's not going to be as good as it were when I just had 5 cards in hand.
Yeah,
So
I'm kind of
two,
curious how much they're gonna
three,
commit here. 4.
4, 5. He's going to go all out, but now he's losing hand advantage too,
Yeah, here we go with the
unless he wants to
random
wild swing.
discard.
Yeah, he's going to just take 1 card, let it be the one that he actually keeps, and then. And Kai doesn't have the options.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, here we go.
So discarding Vapor Thrust, double. That is 1 Vapor Thrust, 1 block, double the speed 5, the one that closed 2. You're just going to Wild Swing here.
Do you know Wild Swing or
Not spending the
range
force
2?
for. Yeah, it helps. That's Ride the Lightning. That is a big attack. It's a dive coming in, but again, just not going to do enough. Now, instead of doing that, um, he's just going to push two, gain advantage.
That was kind of goofy
And
interaction there.
now,
Yeah, I don't like that.
now we see, like, I get that, but hey, it got him a better advantage in hand, and he's down both folks. He's down a Fujiark. He's down both stun dippers. He's down double vapor thrust. He's down pretty much everything except for that ultra. So I get why he did it. It's a pretty safe ultra to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious
Um,
as to why I saw all the cards look like they were picked from Kai's hand, though. I didn't see them done randomly.
he picked the one that he keeps randomly.
Hmm, gotcha. That's what he did, I see.
So he moved. That's what he did. So that's why he moved the card over to the side.
Mm-hmm. I understand why he did that now. I was so
Yeah,
confused. Why
yeah, that's
didn't
why.
it look like it was random? All right. Gonna see the Hungry Coils finally come out into the other Wild Swing. It
And
won't
that
be
is a
that.
second Ride the Lightning. So that's gonna be one.
Another
Gonna be a
Ultra.
set ultra.
Another
That's gonna be a
Ultra.
third ultra, and that is gonna be a grasp.
There's the Grasp. Rips another card out of Kai's hand.
Yeah, 3, 4. After gain advantage, he's gonna get a slash ripped out.
That's a pretty good
Grasp
pull.
is stunned. And here, if I were Shizzy, I'm not prepping. I'm spending 2 gauge, drawing 3 cards. Because I need as much hand advantage as I can right now.
CCing instead of betting on a Wild Swing. I mean, it mostly depends what we have engaged here, if I agree, or in deck here, but for both players, if I agree with you or not, because with both Vapor Thrust gone, I
Okay.
think Hazuma's range 2 should should just be way better than Kai's, especially if we've seen the second Grasp come out.
And I don't even think we've seen a single cross from Hazama yet.
Yeah, so I actually think I would agree 100% with a Wild Swing here, betting the
Which is,
farm on a Wild Swing here.
yeah, I wouldn't wild swing just because, well, actually, maybe I would. We haven't seen the second Serpents. We've seen quite a few force specials, but we haven't seen all of them yet.
hmm
We haven't seen the second sweep yet, which is
I'm
still
pretty sure the
relevant somehow.
second Devouring's also in there, which if Kai has a blocker or any armor in there, Devouring will just end the game.
Well,
It's also
yes,
a
that
force
is
special,
correct.
which we can
Yeah,
also
it's
get rid of.
also a force special. Exactly. So I'm saying we have a lot of force specials here.
Yep.
Both Falling Fangs and both Rising Fangs are out, so we really only have one copy of a force left. So Shizzy's going to make probably the one play that I would disagree with most, just prepping. You
Yeah.
see a spike right there on the top.
So there's a dive that would have missed, but there was a spike that would have hit.
The,
So
the spike was on top too.
I also agree that we should have just been betting the farm on a Wild Swing here, 100%.
Again, if it were me, I would have played a little bit more conservatively in a way than you, but I would have played a little more aggressively than Shizzy. I
Mm-hmm.
would have just spent the 2 force and changed cards for 3 total.
Change cards for 3.
Yeah, again, just having that one extra card in hand matters because now you see a manual reshuffle.
Manual reshuffle. Yeah. Well, hopefully Shizzy has a
Now
good
you don't know
memory
what's
because
going
I
on.
don't. So hopefully he
Exactly, and
remembers.
I'm pretty sure he tracks as well. So he tracks like he doesn't track like until he doesn't track like total, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Maybe either I'm drawing 5 cards here if I'm on Chizzy's turn, or I'm manually reshuffling, getting my astral to hand, so then I can burst it next turn. But no,
Now we go for the Wild Swing.
now he wild swings a turn too late.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested in this Wild Swing here. This is after the reshuffle. There's the Vapor Thrust.
Ouch! That is a vapor thrust right there, and that's just why you get punished.
Yeah,
And now you have Kai at his actual favorite range too, because he has so many more options. Ironically, the spike would have done him in the spike would have done him well too, and Kai is just gonna change cards for 5,
yeah, I
6.
100% agree
He's gonna
with
draw 6 more
this.
cards in. Now you see instead of Shizzy probably having ended that game a turn ago, now he's just kind of in the back seat.
I think the only thing I disagree with Kai here is I would have kept the Dire Eclot just because it makes a mix up still. Because Hazma can't exactly play slow with Dire Eclot in hand.
He
That's the only
can't,
thing I
but
disagree with. Representing
I
a
realize,
mix Eclot.
yeah, like representing a Dire Clat, he can still represent the second copy though.
Yes, that is 100% factual. So Hazama here, I mean, your opponent's up these much cards. Yeah, I agree with the CC here. You either have to CC or reshuffle. We go for the CC
I
instead.
would have, and you see now we have a cross, so
Yep.
Fireclat's not doing a bad thing, but there's an
Hoo-hoo.
EX, and yeah, he has. I mean, that could be EX cross. That could be. Um, uh,
I think
he has one block left in deck too.
yeah, I think that's what they're looking for. Oh wait, no, there's both blocks in discard right there.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. There's both block and discard. There's both focuses. So if it's an EX cross, he loses. If it's EX assault, he loses.
Mm-hmm.
If it's EX anything else, he can cross out.
Yeah,
And
you have to
right
play the
now,
cross here and pray.
I'd be playing to my goddamn outs, but I'm pretty sure this is just gonna end the game here because
Play the
not just
cross and
on him
play.
playing. It is indeed an EX assault, and that's game three.
Yeah, I think the I think the series of happenings after the Exceed was the main fall of Hazama here. I was not a
And
super
there's a
big
crossing
fan.
assault left over.
Yeah, there's the cross and the
Yeah,
assault.
yeah.
Well,
Ironically, had he drawn the EX cross, he wins the game right there too.
mm-hmm.
So it's literally just that he could not draw it. But we're gonna see both characters. I believe we're going to see both players bringing back their Blaze Blue characters. I believe so. We're going to see game three being a Hazma versus Hakumen match.
You think Hazama versus Hakumen, huh? Even though we still have M Bison.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I've seen this video before. So
Oh, yeah,
and I know the tournament results. So
yeah, that's fair.
I know that game three is going to be Hazma Hakumen. So you can skip ahead a little bit if in the video. That's all right with you.
Sure.
And here's the
Alright.
beginning of game. Yep, here's the beginning of game three. We're going to see mulligans. We're just going to see a pretty aggressive mulligan from Shizzy, mulliganing away four cards, keeping a grasp in hand. But that gets him a pretty mid second five.
I think the main thing that's kind of annoying here for Hazama is that in the Hakumen matchup, Falling Fang is no longer as safe as it normally is because Hakumen has uh, the one close two move on or one to two close two that will hit your Falling Fang if you decide to play it. And the difference being is that Hakumen normally doesn't have to pay as much as Hazama does for it. So
Yeah,
I think that's the main annoying thing here. Other than that, it's usually just Hakumen guessing these mix-ups like most characters are doing with Hazama at this range 2 to 3. Main thing with Hazama is you're probably back at range 3 again because Hakumen does have that DP at that range 2. So that is something
yeah.
you have to worry about.
Wait,
Or Hakumen does.
Hakumen does not have a DP.
Doesn't says 6 speed?
I Yeah, it's six speed, not seven.
6 speed, 3 guard.
Six. Oh, the Enma. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a DP. It's weird. It's a weird one because it's on like DP in general should be speed seven because it's meant to beat stuff like cross, but
Mm-hmm. So we see the defend come out immediately from Hakumen again, just trying to make their
yeah,
move
just the
safer,
same play. I
which
mean,
is
here I'm
fine.
probably boosting something like if I have my force cost reduced by one, but he's just gonna boost a fierce, and I think that's the best play he's got. We're kind of just
Boosting fears, boosting
there's a
light.
light. And although to be fair, Cosma does have options at three because he has that Ouroboros if he initiates.
Yeah, I think what Hakumen is just doing the standard Hakumen play where they're just taking turns boosting, and then they're
Just
gonna
getting
hit
some
you with
engage.
something, yeah, and get engaged.
But
Here comes the draw 3
and
strike.
there's Venom Sword. So
I think you kind of want to go to range 3 here. Looks like we're gonna stay at range
oh
4, no Ouroboros.
no, he's figuring out what to pitch for it. He has to set the attack first. But yeah, you're right. Maybe you're right. No Ouroboros.
Well, the reason I called it is because you have to do it before you set your card generally, but they just set the card. I mean, I know it's more of a like friendly kind of tourney.
Yeah, I believe it's like I want to say it's like when you set your attack, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
weird wording. It's when you set your attack, you have to. So you set the attack and pay for Ouroboros pretty much right away. But that is a
Goes for the wow. They went for the 1 to 4 invaded or
Boomerang.
got baited. That's
Yeah, that's
pretty
no
funny.
damage. Close 1-2 gain advantage, but
Yep, Rising Fang
no
will come
damage, and he's
in,
taking Rising Fan will come in, do six.
do 6 minus 1 armor from defense, so 5.
Yeah,
But that was a really
5,
good
yeah.
trade. That was a really good bait by Hazama.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what he did there. It's a two for three. He'd rip a card out of his hand, but or no,
Yeah,
didn't even do that. Just actually ripped a gauge from Hakumen, where otherwise, ooh. And do you see what I see?
there's the
That is a
Shipu.
Shipu.
Yep, Shipu already in
That's
there.
the stun. That's the one that's stun immune on boost. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
take it.
Shipu's already in there. We're at range 2 now, so with Hazama, we just want to go ahead and either drop a boost here or start playing our mix-up game, because all Hawkman's going to do on their turn is just boost some more. We're going to play our Serpent's
Right
Benediction.
now, and that is a huge one because he's gonna strike. He's gonna set Noroboros, but now he can't even play the mix-up game. He's gonna actually, I believe, set. He's gonna set the Falling Fang, right? But he's actually gonna go behind.
Set Falling Fang, back up 1. I agree with this. Yep, this is fine.
And now they're at range four, gain advantage, and we see just another card. Um, yeah, it just gets rid of the cross, denies Hakim another gauge, which we like seeing.
Yep, being it, the only thing you have to worry about when you do a play like that is you have to worry about the 3 speeder that Hakumen has, but that rips another gauge away from Hakumen. You still have advantage, so I think you're fine with eating that there, especially with the life up, so that's a fine play, I think.
I
Alright.
mean, just having 8 life is an advantage for Hazama for sure. It's not the biggest advantage, and we're gonna see a retreat to now. We're really gonna see like a 1 to 6 most likely. So
Yeah, Hakumen go into range 50 here to just kind of play their game. That's fine. We're gonna see the Venom Sword boosted. I like this a lot. Make
the
sure that
Venom
we.
Sword again, just being he need like he can be at range four, and even if let's say Hakim chooses to strike here, he doesn't, and I think that's a mistake. I think knowing that you have force cost reduced by 1, knowing that he could easily have something like a rising or a falling in hand, you want to strike there to get rid of the force cost reduction.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see a strike from Hakumen as well, just to get rid of that. But we're gonna see the power boosted from Hakumen instead, and let Hazama continue this mix-up game. Now we have to see if Hazama actually decides to take advantage of this and go into range 3 and do this, because otherwise we're just gonna sit here. We're not forced to do a whole lot, but we would like to, because Hakumen, of course, when they hit that Exceed, they're gonna be able to play their cards a lot more, and we're gonna be really sad when
Daily
that
work it, yeah.
happens.
But yeah, we're seeing that Hungry Coils getting played. We're gonna see an Ouroboros being played,
Yep, going into
and
range 3.
just just like we thought, range three. Now there is I want to say there's a speed 6 variant, but I don't know if Hazma has it. And right there, that's just a block, so it's great for Hakumen to get the gauge, but that's pretty much wasting a fierce there.
Yep, 1 Fierce gone, and we're going to lose a card if we don't want to take any damage, and then we're also going to lose a card from
And
Hungry Coils, so this is
yeah.
definitely a win for Hazama here. Drops the
Ooh!
Yukikaze with the random pick, that's
Just
really good.
yeah. Oh, wait, was that the Yukikaze? I thought that was a Shippu. Or, no,
She,
Yukikaze is the 102, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, sorry. Sheep, yeah, Yukikaze is the one that I was thinking of then. Shippu's the big curve one. Yukikaze is the scary one for Axel.
and then Grasp goes to Gauge, or Grasp goes to discard was the other
Yeah,
card,
which
so
just again that just feels like such a good pick. So now if I'm Hazma, boosting light, completely fair play. Allows you to be a little more passive while still completely wrecking somebody. There's an Enma.
there's an Enma down. Edma doesn't do a
Let's
whole
see.
lot when Light's in play, so that's fine, but it's
Yeah, that's
happy for
fine.
Hazama for later, so I don't have to worry about it.
And right now, and are we just gonna see a cheeky devouring fang here?
I want to be surprised. I also want to be surprised to see a draw 3 strike and then Devouring Fang. We're just gonna see the Devouring Fang raw though, which is
I
fine.
think he's gonna try to hit that. I think he's gonna try to hit that 178. Boom.
A 6
That
speed
is.
Devouring Fang into the 5 speed.
He's gonna
Devouring
pitch
Fang.
something to pay it.
Probably the block. Block doesn't do damage. We don't need it. Nope. Gets rid of the assault.
Well, he's gonna pay. And I think I like the block, keeping the block here because that does something like parry.
The parry, sure. Um, Right. So four
Keep in
gauge
mind,
here.
Hazama is still at 30.
Yes.
So we're gonna see. This is where I can see the draw three strike. This is where I can see, and he's just gonna prep. And I can understand why. This is 8 gauge exceed. He's gonna shuffle his discard into the deck, and now you know what he's got pretty much. You know he's got one copy of each of these attacks,
Yeah, I think the main thing you want to watch out
except
for
for
here is
except
the Shipu
for
and the Zantetsu because those are the scariest
yeah.
moves that are going to come out of Hakumen's kit right now.
And you see right now there's doubles on Tetsu engage, so you can strike pretty much for free, except for the Shipu, of course. But
Yeah, I
even
think
Shipu's not. You can always just parry the Shipu.
looks like we're just going to Shadow
But
Serpent away. Oh, we're going to Shadow Serpent into rank
Shadow
1.
Serpent in. He's gonna go for that cheeky grass play. He's gonna draw two for turn, and bam,
Although I think
gets
the
us into a cross.
I'm
Sweet.
pretty sure that Shipu has 5 effective guard though, which is yeah, it has 5 effective guard because it has 2 armor and 5 guard, which is kind of depressing for
Oh, sorry.
your
I thought
one
we were.
range.
Sorry, I meant the other one, the Yukikaze, is the one I thought he was gonna parry. You see,
Oh.
he gets his Zantetsu to hand, so he has Zantetsu now guaranteed. And right now, I think he's trying to bait the Zantetsu usage, and he's gonna try to cross out with it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think if we either we could because we can always go for the hard read and we can play the 4 gauge ultra if we want to just deal damage if we think a Zantetsu's being played, or we can just cross out and say see ya Hakumen if we also want, which is definitely the safer option.
That being said, unless he X's, I'm pretty sure just the 4 gauge is fine,
We're gonna see the boost from
right?
Hakumen, which is kind of huh. Seeing the boost from Hakumen
And
here instead of striking, we're gonna see the
he's
parry come out.
he's getting rid of that Zantetsu.
No,
No, he's getting rid of a focus here.
yeah, it doesn't want to get red into like a 50 damage
I like
Zantetsu.
this.
I agree.
I like this. So I think there's EX Zantetsu right there in hand. Um, yeah, we're gonna see that EX Zantetsu in hand,
Yeah,
and that's gonna likely be something that gets played. But I mean, EX Zantetsu is terrifying, sure, but that's one of those things you just cross out. If you see an EX, that's pretty much a guaranteed cross. You can dive because Zantetsu's only speed 2, right? And he's got the second focus.
that's pretty depressing for Hazuma that the second focus was there. We just have to see if it was actually
It
correct.
was called, it looks like, but it was not called right.
Called the spike,
So we
probably.
see it was likely called Spike. This is likely at least a Zantetsu. And if it's me, I'm just gonna mash that 4 gauge. I think having that ultra there, but
Just
again,
gonna mash
taking
the
that
grasp.
grasp option, it's not. That's
Safer
completely
option.
fair. Keeping the grasp. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea here is that we're trying to keep our 4 gauge for ending the game as opposed to just letting it rip right now, just as a threat,
Yeah,
which
I
is
think
fine.
it's, and I think having it in hand is a threat, but now that he's gotten both focuses ripped out of hand, um, it's interesting what he has. Um,
Yeah, I think Hakumen's not too happy to see this hand and definitely doesn't really want to be at range 1 here. Here's the Zantetsu. Grasp gonna throw it out.
Ouch! That's gonna push him too, and that's gonna get rid of it for him. Now he's got a grasp in hand that it's a grasp gauge now, and he's got 5 gauge, so he's gonna be able to get a lot of stuff done. And of course, Zantetsu missing, it's never a good thing because you really wanted that damage on. Like seriously, he can like. This is where I told you, Shizzy mains Hazama. What I'm gonna tell you right now is you can beat his Hazama once. Twice is much harder challenge to beat him.
Yeah, we're seeing the we're seeing the light boosted from Hazuma here. I mean, this is just Hazuma's game to play. Hakumen's in
Really.
definite of a kind of sad state
Mm.
here. Seeing the Zanshin boosted.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's fine.
yeah, once again, we're not worried about this with Hazuma. There's generally a boost that's kind of like a lesser mirror of the world, but I mean, Hakumen's down on so much life that this isn't a super threat right now, especially when we have 5 gauge like this.
5 gauge. Stun immunity's fine. Hell, he can dive over if he so wishes.
Mm-hmm. And
this is a speed six, so yeah, he just dives over.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's 100% what we're seeing here. We're
And
seeing the dive.
oh yeah, that's a and there mitigates all the damage. I mean, Shizzy really said he lost his Hazama once. He's now going to try to 30-0 this mother,
Yep. Hackman's out
and
of
that's
overdrive.
and right now there's not enough gauge to facilitate another one right away. So
Hackman going for the strike anyways, though. Um,
he knows he has it in hand. So I don't think there's any reason not to do it. Yeah,
yeah, 8 health. I also don't see
eight
any reason
health.
not to just do this.
He's at one, and yeah, I mean right here now he just but tries to. So there's one cross out.
I think you're fine to just mash Rising Fang, to be honest. I don't think there's
Yeah,
anything that really beats it.
I agree. I don't remember if that's what he does. This might be the first time, period, that yeah, Shizzy's not taking a single point of damage in this game, and it's incredible.
Yeah, if
And if he wants to,
this is a 30-0, this will probably be the only 30-0, which will be pretty funny.
uh, I mean, it's and there's a prep right there. Like right now, he can read. He could read Spike if he so wishes to really just make it work, but no, he's not going to. He's just gonna do the coils. He's gonna spend gauge one, two, force. He's gonna spend three, four, and five. Yeah, he's just gonna make him discard five cards at random. Um, keeps that card, force him to discard the rest. It includes a spike. So had we read spike, it would have been guaranteed 30-0.
Oh, there's the other
There's second
cross.
cross,
That's
there's
the important
tattoo.
part. Yeah, because now we
Yeah,
can really
and
just
that
mash Rising Fang. And there's a
yeah,
block gone too.
yeah. I just like
This,
having that focus in hand. I think was really good for him. But there's no more black. There's no more focus. Um, hell, you can mash cross here. There's one card left in hand. If it's a grasp, fine. It is a wild swing on top.
sure, we're mashing focus. That
He's
works.
assaulting here, which yeah, it's gonna be the first damage he takes all game.
All right.
And right there, that's the game right there. So yeah, knowing just hey, wild swing and wild swings into assault and focus is safe. If
Yeah,
he really wanted to 30-0, he could have gone for the massive prediction, but at that point the game was locked anyways, so it doesn't matter so much.
yeah, gets the 28. I would have liked to see the Rising Fang. I think it just beats everything at that point. I agree with the 100% discarding 5 cards at random first, just to get rid of any cross or blocks in the hand, just to make sure that the Rising Fang can close out the game. Um,
Yeah,
but
and
focus
I
works just
get
as
why he did
well,
it.
so it's 100%
Yeah,
fine
reading
too.
and again, I'm just saying for the extra style points, read a damn spike.
Read the spike for the style points.
Yeah, or read a cross and hit him with your own cross. He had a cross in hand.
True. Style points.
Yeah, like
Alrighty.
reading. Yeah, but that's. I mean, that was a great match. I
Mm-hmm.
think they both did a great job there. Obviously, Shizzy MVP with that now 28-1 to 28-0 victory, but that was a very dominating. I think both were kind of all three games were dominating by one side or the other. Game two being definitely the most evenly matched, but even Kai had just capitalized on a few mistakes.
Yeah, I think game one, the Axel just kind of ran over the Hakumen. We didn't really get to see too much from Hakumen. And in game three, we just saw the Hakumen kind of guess everything wrong on the Hazama and lose the game. Shizzy
Yeah.
very well showcasing their skills here as a player who, as I've been told, is a pretty dominant in the IRL Exceed team here in the Americas. And then
Yes.
the and then that game two, yeah, that was the more evenly matched up, the Hazama versus the Kai. We got to see Teketria kind of get to play the game a bit more there and show off their skills. Um, so yeah, definitely looking forward to see how far Shizzy can go. I believe Shizzy is on the top side of the bracket, which
Yeah,
will
so he's
be
gonna be facing Some or Adwins.
okay.
Um, we can talk about that one when we recast that match, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's gonna have to be done live. Um, just for certain reasons. We'll talk about that more in a tournament wrap up video later.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me, KR, and thank you for
Of
hosting
course.
this tourney that we're playing in. And yeah, do you have any final words before I end the stream or end
Oh
the
yeah,
recording?
actually. Um, so be on the lookout for some more matches. We're gonna have some more co-hosts coming on most likely. You're gonna see me around for at the very least Starboy versus Donuts match, as well as likely commentating over yours versus VGMA.
All right. Sounds good to me. Well, thank you guys for watching and have yourselves a good one. And you'll see more VODs either this week or next week. So, peace.
Sounds great.